Alright, I just wanted to go over quickly what I'm talking about, just to make sure that we're all clear here, so there's no miscommunication.
Activating the barrier.
Stop doing this. I know you're trying, but you should be laying in damage right now, as well as pressing tab.
You are fully hit.
So right now they're pushing in, right? You could be right here with your DPS. Okay. So you could be right here with your DPS just laying damage, and then once they come close, like right here to round in that corner, that's when you push back to your spot. Right now you are offering 0 shield break, and BAP has a lot of shield break for a support. Lot of shield break, and you're breaking, and you are not utilizing that part of his kit, which is huge. Big part of your game right now is that you're too conservative often. So this Junkrat ends up being a problem up here, and you just sit here at the same spot right around this corner. Don't get me wrong, it's a good spot because you can see them, you can see twigs, you can see high ground, and you can see the stairway. It's a good spot. Don't get me wrong, but you've got to move at some point. Because if you're there consistently every single time, they will know exactly where you are and they will know exactly how to punish you. Even the Junkrat lays into you, and like he can see you and he knows where you are now and he knows that you're low and he'll call that out. So what you need to do once you get low is you need to move. You have a few options here on this point, right? You got this little area with the trees, a little bit hard to see, might miss a few grenades here and there because of the trees, that's alright. You can even sit on the stairs because you have, if you do end up sitting on these stairs right here, you have a mini right there that you can duck into. Same with over here, you can also duck over to that mini as well. And then even you can watch this high ground even, because you can just jump up there really fast, take a look or whatever, and then heal people that are, you know, below you a little bit. This spot really only is if we're past this choke point. Or like the fight is happening like, if the fight is happening like literally right here. Like right here. And the payload's like right here, then this spot's great. Otherwise it's not incredible just because if you ever need to back up, you're kind of screwed. But yeah, you sit in this spot for way too long, and you're here constantly and low. You need to be moving somewhere. So whether that be a high ground position up here, whether that be a high ground position up here, high ground position up here, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Move somewhere else. Because the longer you sit here, the more likely it is that they'll know where you are next time. Like that. That is the exact reason. He knew you were low, he knew where you were, and all he had to do was throw one shot in your general direction. He didn't even have to see you. That death is entirely your fault.
Step rider.
And in turn, you being dead means this entire fight was lost because of your death. I know you know this because I rail you guys all the time on it, but just so we're all clear. Just being... So, we'll just end it so it's nice and clean. So, just so we're clear, BAP is a lot more mobile than Anna. He can get to other places this year, so you can be a little bit more creative for where you stand. Get to a lot more high grounds. You can sort of be in a lot weirder places than Anna can really be, because she has to do parkour to get to weird places, but you can just jump. I think that's it. So I think right now that is your biggest weakness, is making sure that you're moving places and making sure that you're never staying still. That coupled with the never staying still thing is being more aggressive. You can push with your tanks. You don't have to be 15 miles behind them. You can go with them and be right behind them as they're pushing in. Especially if they're down a bunch, because they won't be aggressing on you if they're down a bunch. They're just going to be backing up. So the more damage that you can lay in, the better. Same thing with if they're starting to push in. They're not going to push on you immediately. You're there. You're safe enough to where you can start laying in damage. And getting that value in. It'll pump up your damage numbers and it'll lower the shield so that everybody else's job is easier. You know? Other than that, in a meta with Ashe, your regenerative burst should be saved for when you know she either number 1 dynamites or number 2 missed her dynamite and doesn't have it anymore. Just because it's so deadly if everybody gets hit at the same time, and your burst just kind of cancels it out. So if they are running Ashe, just make sure you're saving that cooldown. But of course, if you get low from from someone else, like a Hanzo body shot or whatever, you can shift. It's fine. Like I'm just saying in a general sense, try and save it for dynamite. I went through quickly. Your windows were fine. Sometimes you would let your tanks die even if you had eye field. I think that's just you don't know your limits kind of thing, like how much you can heal, and I think that'll probably just come with time. It's usually better to use it than to not use it. But you're at a high enough level at this point to where we're just trying to squeeze more value out of your character. We're trying to just get that little bit of extra damage at the beginning and end of team fights. We're just trying to get that little bit of extra value out of eye field because you're playing so well that this is how we get you to the next level. Every single thing you do has to be micromanaged. Every single ability you use needs to have a reason. Every single time you shoot your gun, why are you shooting your gun? At who? Is it worth it? Why? Can they heal from this? Are you just feeding support ultimates by doing this? Do you have your ultimate? Should you even be shooting at this point? Healing, same thing. Could you maybe save the healing for your off healer? Are you in immediate danger right now? Do you need to eye field right now, or can your tank shield up and you can sort of just walk backwards? That little bit is going to push you over the edge into Masters. I can tell you this from experience. Just recently, me playing Sigma, I climbed, as you know, many accounts up to Diamond, and I had this wall that I was sitting at about 33 or 3400 where I could not get past. And I figured out my reason. The reason why is because every single ability I have didn't have a reason. Sometimes I'd just rock because people were in front of me and could die. Did they die? No, because they had a bubble and 2 supports. Sometimes I'd use Grasp really early because I was in a weird position and I just needed to back out. I could get away with that in low diamond. You can't get away with that in Masters because right after you Grasp, they're going to send in Window, they're going to send in Bongo, and then you're going to wish that you had Grasp. Exact same thing goes with eye field, but even to a more extreme level. People will try to bait out your eye field with so many different things. This is why you have to switch positions so often, and you have to be conscious of where flankers are. You have to be conscious of, how low your tanks are getting. You have to know your limits in order to push them. Does that make sense? Right, so what's going to happen, for example, in a meta like this with Echo Sigma? So what's going to happen is Echo's going to come from the backline and she's trying to get... Her goal is to get eye field out of you. If you use eye field, they're going to flux and kill everybody. Now, it's fine if you do use eye field, but that has to be communicated, and you do a good job of that. But that's also on our team to sort of, play around and all that good stuff. But as far as you are concerned, like I said earlier, just squeezing that little bit of value out of every single thing that you do is going to push you over the edge. I hope that was all helpful. You're doing a great job. I appreciate everything, so thank you. And lastly, keep working on your ult tracking. It's getting much better, but because I can see the enemy ult tracking, or the enemy ults, like the exact numbers, I know it can get a lot better. So, if you have any questions, DM me, and hopefully we'll get a group together to get you the Masters this weekend, deal?